What's up, guys? Jameson here with the Road Trip Angler. Fish on. Oh, geez. For this road trip, we're heading down to Texas and we're gonna fish some rivers around San Marcos.
Are you ready?
And then we're gonna head over to the Houston area, down to Freeport, to get into some saltwater marshes. I overshot! From there, we're going over to my camp in Louisiana at Pat Kayak Rental and hopefully catch some more redfish.
To hit the state line, yeah, we travel like a freight line. Drop the kayak in and drop a bait down. We make it easier than 1, 2, 3. You want the tips, want the tricks with the ones to see. Ooh-wee! Cause everybody wants to fish, but can't nobody make the trips. But don't trip, cause we gon' make it when you can't miss out. Road trip angle, only thing we need is a route, no doubt.
Part of being a road trip angler means you gotta go where the fish are. We're racking up the miles and I have no idea how many I'm putting on my truck, but it's a lot. When you start talking about all the adventures that you're gonna have at the next stop, you don't pay attention to that little gauge on the dash. You end up on the side of the road, taking one of these off the side of the truck and put it in here. The gas station is literally right there. Don't tell my wife. I'm really excited today. We're down in San Marcos, Texas, hanging out with the folks from TG Canoe and Kayaks, and we got a bunch of Jackson team members with us. I don't know how this is gonna work, but we're gonna all go divide and conquer. Okay, I can say myself. Hi. On this trip, we had like 6 to 8 people, so we were trying to get a few of them to go upriver instead of downriver with us so that we could have some fresh water.
You know, a key indicator to tell you how well you did the last time you went and fished with Jameson, he sends you the opposite direction of where he's going. That's right. He turns Jake into a camera guy to prevent Jake from fishing. Then he turns around and he's like, bro, we just don't need you. What? So, I've got a plan. My plan is him going in disguise. That's right, little ZZ Top, long beard action. I'm gonna sit in the back, I'm gonna catch fish, I'm gonna yell fish on in some other voice, and he's gonna get frustrated.
Yep, beard or no beard, still got it.
I don't know that everyone in kayak fishing has a beard. It sure does seem that way.
You know what I do? Catch fish.
I may have to start letting this grow out.
Hey, Richard, you gonna take that beard off or what, man?
Who the hell's Richard? I don't know no damn Richard.
Seriously, take it off. You look stupid.
Fine. You know what gave it away? I was catching fish. That's what gave it away.
If my dad actually grew his beard out, I feel like he'd get invited more to come do these things with Jameson, because it's kind of like a bearded wonderland around here.
That's a nice fish, huh?
So we are TG Canoes and Kayaks. We're here in San Marcos, Texas. It was started in 1986 by my father, Dwayne.
And we've been rolling ever since. We started as a livery first, and now we're full-blown retail. That's been going on for the last 5 years.
On this trip, I have a brand new kayak, the Jackson Coosa X. This was really the first opportunity we got to take the boat to a dealer and get their feedback, and also put some of our own team members at Jackson Kayak in the boat.
When I think about how many kayaks I've reviewed, it's probably in the neighborhood of 65. When Jameson called, I know he's looking for real feedback. They're not looking for fluff.
I felt like I should have brought a few more Coosa X because it was literally musical boats out there on the water. We would go a little ways and then someone's like, all right, my turn. And you had to move all the gear out and put the next person in it.
When we're running rivers, we gotta have a river boat. We could catch an eddy and start fishing when we need to, or just go out and play. And I think that Coosa X will be just a fantastic boat for river fishing.
Got one. Really, really stable. Finally. Great seat, very high, a lot of rod storage, ton of deck space.
Love the maneuverability. We've done some small rapids and stuff today. The ability to bounce off of a rock and not lose your stability. It's an impressive boat.
You might not think of Texas as being a river fishing destination, but Texas is full of rivers and they're really beautiful. A lot of them are spring fed, which means the water can be really clear. The fish weren't quite biting aggressively. And I think that's because it had rained a bit the day before and it hadn't really made the river rise at all, but there was a little bit more stain to the water.
I did catch one. I caught fish.
You caught a fish or you caught bait?
That big.
Smallest fish ever caught on the road trip angler.
You always want to fish ahead of people because you catch fish when you do it. Yeah. There's this fine balance when you're fishing a river. It really is that fresh water that you're in the front that you're going to get access to first.
Jameson's big goal here was to get in front of everybody else so he can pick all the spots and possibly get on the big fish before anybody else does.
I would say I'm on a little bit of a pattern now, and that pattern is jump in front of everyone else, mess up all the water they're fishing. Seems to be working so far.
Well, I finally made my way in front of Jameson. As you can see, he's now back behind me. And look, they finally get on the bass.
Listen, I don't purposely try to paddle faster than everyone else, but if they're tying a lure on and I happen to drift by them, I'm not gonna stop and wait. Freshwater is fishy water. Oh, they keep getting better. Imagine you're in an orchard. There's all these apples just hanging on the tree and they're super ripe. That first person's gonna get to pick those best apples. Fish on. Good one too. Oh, geez. Woo! Woo! There you go. Oh my gosh. Yeah, boy. That's why you come to Texas right there and river fish. That is what we were looking for all day. Road Trip Angler is brought to you by Jackson Kayak. We are Jackson Kayak. Wiley X, go confidently. Batson, the best fishing rods start here. Sometimes as a road trip angler, you gotta get up early. And today, it was really early. We got up at 1:30, and we're trying to get on some fish before a cold front comes in. Getting into Freeport, just the drive in, you can see how much marsh and water is everywhere. It can be a little overwhelming. Being able to get out on the water with some locals that have that knowledge down there is gonna be awesome.
Check, 1, 2, check. Microphone checker.
What are you doing here? Again?
Again.
We're gonna chase schools today under birds. We'll hook up with a fish out of the school, and then we're gonna wait to see where they reform, and then we'll be able to get to the school again.
We're heading out to a spot that Michael knows really well. It's a lake that holds redfish. We got a front coming in tomorrow, but this should be an epic morning because it's pre-front, so that should have them turned on and fired up. I overshot! Ah.
Look at that bird right there, he's fluttering. There's probably some fish under him. So what I'm watching for is they circle, and if they hover, then they're on top of fish, because the fish are pushing the bait up off the bottom, and the bait's coming to the surface, and the birds are there to grab the bait. So the birds give away the fish here in the marsh.
I see birds all the way across, you see them?
You got some over there?
Yeah.
And we got some over here.
As the reds are pushing in the bait, the birds are there following them along, just trying to get a free meal. Get in that boat, boy. You know, get in on that action. That's what I have. I have a weedless shrimp imitation here. Kind of kick it in the water, you throw it out in front of the school and just pop, pop.
Turn this way. There we go. It's a competition mentality, so they want to gorge as much as they can, and they want to get more than the next redfish in line there. So, he keeps biting me.
I really wanted a redfish. They were around, and I was looking at, literally standing on my kayak and looking at schools of redfish. But for whatever reason, I didn't get the hookup. He ate it. Oh God, he got off. So frustrating.
Jameson's over there fishing the bank, but there's activity out here. There's a bird right there.
Birds are over there now.
Sometimes you gotta just figure out how to make them eat. Sometimes it's the presentation, sometimes it's the speed, Sometimes it's just you're not in the right spot.
Fish on. Well, he came off.
Sometimes that shallower water, they don't really come up and commit. You know, they just kind of come up and kind of pop at it. I'd see Jameson and I'd be like, hey, Jameson, have you got anything yet? No.
Not in a good mood right now.
So he was like on one-word vocabulary. No. On the wake bait, man, that's a good fish too. With a very cool spot, like a donut. Looks like a little donut. On both sides too, he's got it. And he's gone. How about that?
Daggone it, man. I think maybe excitement or lack of sleep might have got to me a little bit. But if it could have went wrong, it did. Oh, God, they keep hitting it and miss it. They blow up on the top water again and miss it. I go to set the hook, the thing comes flying back behind me, wraps every rod that I have behind me. How frustrating can you get?
I fished with Jameson quite a few times, and I've never, ever, seen him pouty. I look over, and he's just, dejected.
I couldn't help it, okay? I wanted to catch fish, and I watched them catch fish.
I literally felt bad for him. Everybody else was getting on fish.
Yeah, baby. Not a beast, but she'll do.
As usual, it was a fun time out on the water, but I did not catch anything. Everybody else caught stuff. Richard, oh, I guess I've caught a fish now. Thank you. You can have it back.
Can help.
Yeah. All right. Thanks. Appreciate that.
Oh,
yeah,
no problem.
The house we're staying at here in Texas has canals around it. So we came up with this plan to put our kayaks in at night and see if we couldn't find a few of those dock lights. I needed some redemption. I hadn't caught a redfish, and it was our last chance to catch one. Also, Jake had never really got to redfish either. I mean, he's a bass guy, and he had spent all day behind the camera. So it was time for Jake and I to go on a little midnight mission.
We're sitting there watching TV. I get up, I go to the bathroom, come back, sat down. I realize, where'd everybody go?
To be honest, Richard's been messing with me a little bit. He's like wearing a beard, trying to sneak into the fishing spots. He's throwing fish at me. I mean, who does that, really? And it was time for some payback. As we paddle through the canal, we come up on our first dock light. Jake made the first cast and immediately hooks up on a fish. Jake's is on a fish. Woo!
Hey, so where are you at, dude? I went downstairs looking for you. What are you guys doing?
Oh, we just decided to split off, do a little night fishing.
What? Fish on. I got one.
There you go.
After a long, tough day of fishing where I got a little salty, that one bite changed everything.
Look at that big boy right there. Look at those spots on him. God, that's gorgeous.
Road Trip Angler is brought to you by InForAdventure.com, inspiring, educating, and encouraging outdoor adventure. Yakatech, make it yours. Torquedo, cleaner water, better fishing. This has been a long road trip, but it's been an awesome one. On top of fishing multiple locations and traveling from Texas to Louisiana, we've also been doing the Jackson Kayak Fun Tour. And Pack and Paddle really did a great job of getting that local community out to the shop.
Pack and Paddle is a traditional outdoor store with a little bit of a difference in that a very large majority of what we do revolves around kayak fishing. We just invited the kayak fishing community to come out, put on a fun event where they could connect and have fun.
We've had multiple partners kind of chip in, and one of those is Batson Enterprises. They donated a rod kit for a custom-built rod, and Richard brought a game that you pitch a magnet into these cups, and whoever had the highest score won that rod. We are down at Pack Kayak Rental in southern Louisiana, and we're hanging out with John from Pack and Paddle, which is one of our Jackson dealers. I am excited to get on the water with him today because it's been a long time. We got Michael Forenza hanging out with us too, so it's going to be an awesome day. I've known John for a long time. This is one of the first times he's actually got to go fishing out of the NAR, so to have his input and feedback on what he thought of that boat was something that was long overdue for me.
I have to say, these boats are extremely easy to pedal.
It's faster than any other pedal drive you have in your store because we've tested them side by side.
I'm pedaling effortless, and I feel like I'm moving really fast. We're out at a place in South Louisiana called Point Ocean. It is a predominantly marshy area. It's brackish saltwater that really excels in red fishing.
I'm standing up in the kayak and I'm looking for any kind of movement on the water, any kind of shadow, a fin sticking out, a tail sticking out, and I'm just wanting to see a fish and then try to present a bait to them in a way that they'll eat it. Look at these bubbles. Just bubbles. It's just bubbles coming up from the bottom. Sneaky, sneaky bubbles.
The biggest trick that I can share is what we call a sight fishing belt. When you do see a fish, you clip the paddle in, bend down, lift the rod, open the bail, and make the cast, all in one quick motion without making any noise.
The dark mud and the peat that's underneath this water retains warmth. Rocks retain warmth, and they're in here. You can catch fish year round.
We had some hammers out on the water today. We had John, who I fished with before. He has fished inshore for years. And then Michael Forenza, who is a guide for redfish. Now, he was out of his element in the sense that he came over from Texas, but it didn't take him long to figure it out because he has an extensive knowledge of how to catch these fish.
Without a doubt, my favorite thing to do.
And then we got Richard, who has been following me this entire trip. Here he comes again with us right down here to pack, and he actually got on the fish because that dude is fishy.
Woo! On this show, I really felt like Jameson tried to not let me get on camera much, and really got to kind of, peel the onion. Why is that?
And now, you know why.
One of the really cool things about South Louisiana in general, but also here at Pack, is that there's so much marsh. I mean, it's like 25 miles or so to the Gulf from here, and in between here and there is just marsh.
You know, Lafayette is called Sportsman's Paradise. We have more fish than anywhere else, and I believe that. I love how blue the tail is. This one's got pretty colors on his head too.
Road Trip Angler is brought to you by Seaguar, the inventor and perfecter of fluorocarbon fishing lines and leaders. Extra Tough, Alaska proven, built for all. NRS, catch the adventure. The best part about Louisiana is that there's oil rigs, and these stupid helicopters have to carry people to them. Good Lord, helicopters. We're trying to film here. It's ridiculous.
It's very exciting. When you see them just bolt onto the lure, it's like, wow.
There's not a lot of fish you get to see do that. You know what I mean? Like, that's a unique thing with redfish.
Yeah. Watching them eat is what's the fun of it, really.
One of the things about sight fishing redfish is that you get instant feedback for what you're doing. And you drop your paddle, or you bump your boat, or you hit an oyster reef, or you immediately see how that fish reacts to that noise. So you have to be stealthy, quiet, move slow even. You can't even fart out there. Do you know how long I held my fart today? It was ridiculous. I watched one belly crawl right here, but I can't get to him, it's too shallow.
I need your fish to come crawling right here.
He went around to the right, and I think Michael caught him. Got him. Whoa. Ooh, he's a big boy. Woo. Look at the size of that red. It's just fat. Woo.
Oh, I broke a line. That gummit.
I haven't got it in front of him good yet. That's the one. Got him. Woo! Belly crawlers. Saw that fish all the way in the back of this pocket with its back out of the water. Be able to kind of sneak up in there and keep eyes on him, even in these overcast conditions. And in the net is awesome. Woo! Man, what a pretty, healthy, thick fish. I literally saw him swimming back there with about that much of his back out of the water. Made our way in there, super quiet, just kept eyes on him. Still took me 3 casts to get it in front of him. Let's get her back in the water. It's just been an epic trip, and I don't know if words can describe it. And I really finished on a high note. I caught a lot of fish today, eats that I'll remember for the rest of my life. Coming down this flat, and I'm seeing fish feeding on the surface, like turning on their side to look at the water. And this dude crushed it when I threw it out, but he swam around the power pole and around my rudder and got all tangled up, and I just wasn't willing to lose this fish because these conditions are not easy. So I went in after it, and it paid off.
Woo. And I came around the point, and I see this much of Jameson standing in the water next to the boat, and I'm like, oh no.
Sometimes you just gotta get dirty, right? Well, I'm dirty. I'm real dirty. This trip has been up and down. It's a roller coaster of emotions. We've went and fished rivers in Texas, freshwater, and then we hit the salt. I got salty in the salt because I couldn't catch fish, and then we ended here at Pack, and I was able to make it happen. In the meantime, we launched a kayak. We did the JK Fun Tour. We condensed so much awesomeness in one small trip, and the roller coaster of emotions for me, catching fish, not catching fish, catching fish again, has been epic. But it is time to hit the road, and everything must come to an end so that we can start the next trip. So I'm out of here.